It's Thursday, August 23rd, and you're listening to the Geek at Geek News Central, show number 793, sponsored in part by GoDaddy.com. Our August special for all new and existing GoDaddy customers. Save 20% off your order. Use promo code GO20OFF2. Am I getting out? Yep. Geek News Central is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. Hey, folks, you know what comes next? Strap in. Here it comes.
All right, people, I need a go, no-go for the Geek News Central podcast. Digital archive recorders.
We're go fly.
Microphone.
We're go fly.
Video feed.
Go.
Web browser.
Go.
RSS data stream aggregator.
Go fly.
Interflux Toddism suppressor.
All right. I'm confused.
Host readiness check.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
The Geek News Central podcast is a proud member of the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to go. Cue Todd in
5,
Button, who's got the button?
4,
There is no cause for alarm.
3,
Everybody hold on to something.
2,
Just press the button.
1.
Aloha and welcome to Geek News Central, coming to you as live as it can be from the beautiful state of Hawaii via the Geek News Central studio overlooking Greater Honolulu. Hey everyone, welcome to the show. Of course, my name is Todd Cochran, and I want to give a warm welcome to all of the Hana here. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being part of the family. Of course, if you're checking out the show for the very first time, it's real easy to get involved with the show. All you got to do is visit our website at geeknewscentral.com and get subscribed to the show. There's a newsletter there for you as well, so that you get the show notes, but lots of ways to stay connected. Of course, you can always listen to the show on your Roku, Boxy, Samsung Smart TV, Google TV, and a new Vizio product we'll talk about a little later tonight. Of course, if you want to contact the show, you can do that really at any time on Twitter at Geek News. Of course, you can email me here at geeknews@gmail.com. Of course, our hotline is available 24 hours a day at 619-342-7365. Don't forget, we always have an audio stream running 24/7 on geeknewscentral.com. It basically gets you connected with all the latest episodes, whether it be the Gadget Professor, Robot Underpants, the Saturday Morning Tech Show, or the latest shows here at GNC. They're always streaming in a loop. When we're live, it's on a live audio stream as well. So if you're in the office in a different part of the world on a time zone that's actually daylight, you can kind of tune into the show that way if you don't want to run the full video version of the show while we're live. But I want to thank everyone for being here and, of course, checking out the show. And, of course, all of you that are subscribed to the show via iTunes, thanks for staying subscribed as well. Well, I'll tell you, been a busy week here. Got a lot to talk with you about. Definitely going to share a couple of things that my wife threw at me this evening. And I'm just, every time, I'm not kidding, I was just a little bit stunned this evening. So if it's going to happen what she wants to happen, we're really going to need the support of our sponsors here. And I want to thank GoDaddy.com for being one of the sponsors of the show. And we really got a fantastic deal for you. Matter of fact, we've done some updates to geeknewscentral.com. You'll see some new banners on the website. All of the great promo codes are in rotation, along with a couple of new deals as well. So I have those basically embedded in the website. And of course, they're always on the webpage at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. But we're bringing back a permanent host $199 offer where you can get $1.99 a month hosting for 3 months max. So that's a great starter package. That is basically locked in as a permanent offer. So that $1.99 hosting is fantastic for those of you looking to get started. Of course, we got this special this month, the 20 off percentage code. And that's basically use the promo code GO20OFF2. And that's going to really save you a lot of money on your website and get you set up for a great domain or even a website. Whatever you want to do, you can save money on that order. I tell you, I've got a whole host of GoDaddy promo codes at again at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. But, did you know that GoDaddy managed 53 million domain names? Is that incredible? And did you know that GoDaddy blocks 4 million attacks to the network every day? And they protect their customers' data, protects them from intrusion. And, that's an incredible number. 4 million attacks to their network they block on a daily basis. So we got SSL certificates for you. We've got .coms for $7.99. We're using promo code ComSale. So definitely check all the codes out again at geeknewscentral.com/GoDaddy. You want to thank GoDaddy for being a longtime sponsor here at GNC. Well, I tell you, my son comes walking in the house. Of course, my wife picked the kids up from school, and my daughter's running cross country. It was raining, so she comes in mopping wet, heads immediately to the shower, and my son says something about a house, and I'm like, "What about a house?" And I hear my wife immediately go, "Shh, shh, shh," So she was trying to do shh quietly, but I heard the shh. I'm like, okay, what's this story about a house? I come out of the studio here, and uh, Chris says, "Mom wants to buy a new house," and I kind of look at her, and she says, "Okay, let me show you." So we take, as I told you guys before, we take our kids to school. We have to drive about 30 minutes one way to take them to school based on the traffic and everything. And so she says they've got a brand new house. It's right in the area we tried to get in before. It's been it's basically a house that's been there for a while, but it's been completely gutted and redone. And immediately she brings up the MLS listing and starts showing me, and I'm kind of looking at her from the side, and I'm like, "Are you kidding me?" So we didn't have much of a conversation about it at dinner. It'll probably be one of these weekend conversations. Um, I'm gonna have a heart attack. Definitely, just one of those conversations that's gonna happen for sure. And the thing is interesting. So I said, I said, if you really are serious about this, that thing's gonna go quick. It's priced to move. And again, she just looked at the pictures. We didn't look at anything else. No comps. We didn't look at the land size. It's a little bit bigger than this house. It's a lot closer to town, but I am so not ready to make a change, because you know what that really requires? And I just told you guys I just refinanced, right? Um, that requires either putting this up for rent or trying to sell it, and then figuring out how you're going to make that transition from the time it's rented to buying something. And the whole money situation is just a whole nother nightmare. And she's not fully understanding we can't use my VA certificate twice, so the loan terms would be different on the next one. And so it's just one of those things. And so we'll see. uh, I'm sure it's not going to go anywhere once she figures out the full details. But just like boom. But anyway, that was a surprise tonight. Hey, we've got Mike Dell. He's been in LA this week with Ford. We're going to have some Ford videos up on the website here probably the next day or so. So keep an eye on that on geeknewscentral.com. We definitely got Saturday morning tech show. We are going to be here Saturday, so I hope that you come out for the Saturday morning tech show and enjoy that. I'm going to be starting very early, of course, 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 noon Eastern. So if you're just getting up Saturday morning and getting your coffee, come and load us up on your Google TV or load us up in your browser and watch Saturday Morning Tech at 9 a.m. Pacific, 12 noon Eastern here at Geek News Central. Going to give away prize tonight. We've got these, of course, I've been, encouraging folks to become insiders here at Geek News Central. And we've got these grab bags that we have got a stack of them. I think there's 27 total grab bag stacks. And they've got grab bag bags. They've got different prizes in them. So what I'm really doing at this point is we're giving away a bag every time we get a fifth donation to becoming an insider. I think we're a little bit behind, so I want to thank those folks that have came on board as insiders over the past week and a half. I want to thank them. So what we've got is Jeremy Thompson was our first winner. He got lot 22. William Radcliffe was our second winner. He got lot number 7. Michael Evans is our third winner. He has received lot 19. Now, what we did also is we had some basically rules in place where you could email the show as well if you wanted to be in the stack to win. So you really don't have to donate to the show to be in the drawing. So it's basically, if you decide you want to support the show as being insider, you can. If not, you can just send an email with just an email on there just saying support the GNC show, and we put you in the drawing so that you can be um, in there as well for no cost. So everyone that's sent that email, they're in that stack. But congratulations to Michael Evans. I think Michael was actually an email submitter. But those that become insiders, we thank you. geeknewscentral.com/insider. For those of you that would like to support the show on a monthly basis, it's greatly appreciated. All right, let me go ahead and part of it is we're trying to transition the show, make it move forward and do different things, and that's how you can help by becoming an insider. Let's take care of the last little business here tonight before we get into the full content. And I've got a great stack of stuff for you that I tell you today was just I was like boom, 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 found all kinds of really cool products and services. And it's amazing how people do business these days. I have been in discussions with a company out in the East Coast. Their sales rep is actually in Los Angeles. And then basically they've been talking to me about it's basically a system that we subscribe to. We have to pay. This is for Raw Voice, where we pay an upfront amount of money. It gets access to a database of certain information. I won't go into it here, but tomorrow I'm getting a demo. So I basically wrote the guy, sent an email, say, hey, can you meet at 7 a.m.? And let me know if that fits your schedule. And so what does he send me back? He actually sends back a GoToMeeting invite. So not only am I inviting people to meetings, I got invited to a GoToMeeting session through just a vendor that's trying to get my business. So that just shows you how powerful this application is. And, I don't have to be here. I can be mobile if I need be and join the meeting with him while he's giving me this demo. But, during summer, it seems like everyone is on a different schedule, vacation, shorter days, working remotely. So meeting all your clients and colleagues in person can be essentially impossible. And that's why I recommend GoToMeeting with HD faces. And tomorrow I'll be able to see the sales rep, be able to face to face. We'll get that demo done. And it's very early, going to be here early in the morning. So what's kind of a slick little trick is I just throw a t-shirt on or whatever and put the camera on. And, he doesn't know I have to probably been only out of bed for an hour and a half. He doesn't have to know that. You guys will know. But with GoToMeeting by Citrix, it really just takes a webcam and a click to collaborate in a meeting with HD video. And again, you can join from an iPad or an Android device as well. And you can see attendees eye to eye while collaborating on documents in real time. And that gets you that instant connection. So GoToMeeting is essentially easy to use. I've had my kids using it with their friends as well. So, it's obviously a great business tool, but it's so simple. A caveman could do it. I guess that's the way to say it. But iPad users just download the free GoToMeeting app to join. But as a listener of this show, you can try GoToMeeting for free for 30 days. And it's real easy. All you got to do is go over to GoToMeeting.com, click on the Try It Free button, and use the promo code podcast. Again, click on the Try It Free button and use the promo code podcast. That'll give us credit for your trial. Get a free 30-day trial. We want to thank Citrix by GoToMeeting by Citrix. And definitely give this product a try. It's awesome. If you haven't been invited to a GoToMeeting meeting, it's I don't see anyone else using any other product. It just tells me this is the product to use. So everyone take care. And we want to thank GoToMeeting for being a sponsor here at Geek News Central. Okay, let me go ahead and get into this stack. And we want to thank the folks that have joined in on the stream. Someone was saying the audio was a little low earlier. Is the audio okay there, Sly Fox? Is the audio good tonight? Hope so. I'd seen that come in. Nothing is switched here from a audio level perspective, so we should be okay. Let me go ahead and open up my stack of stuff. And boy, I tell you, sometimes when you load, I have gotten to the point where Chrome, Chrome's an interesting animal. And what I end up finding is that I do a lot of my show prep in Google Reader. And as I'm starring articles in Google Reader, I don't open them up in the browser until I'm all done. And then I go through and I open up all the links to all the articles in Chrome. And what I can load is about 25 to 30 tabs. So I've got 25 to 30 articles open. Then Chrome will just freeze, come to a halt. I'll have to shut it down, and I'll have to restart it. And what I see, and of course, it reloads all the tabs. But what it does is there's definitely a bug still in Chrome because the more tabs you open, it's supposed to open up more processes, but it really doesn't. So what I do is when I shut it down, you can see the main process is like using 3, 4, 5 gigs of RAM, and then I'm going to sneeze. Excuse me. And then when I close it down in it, you can see it uses more processes. So it's like it reallocates or something, and then it works fine. But it's kind of weird on how it does that. So usually it's a 1 or 2 time closing Chrome and reopen. It's kind of a pain, but if they could fix that relocation error, it would save me probably an extra 3 or 4 minutes on show promo. I know that sounds vain, but it makes a big difference for sure. All right, I want to start off with a story tonight that was over on Gizmodo that I don't think is getting much press, but I think this is going to be an interesting weekend to watch because, and of course, it's actually we have to look at the time and when this is actually going to happen. But there's an unknown hacker group has claimed that it can shut down the world's largest oil company. Now, apparently, they've attacked them already. The New York Times reported that a hacker group called Cutting Sword of Justice claimed responsibility for spreading a malicious virus into Saudi Aramco, the Saudi government-owned oil company that's also the world's largest, and basically they're the monster. And apparently, sometime a few days ago, they were able to destroy over 30,000 computers within Saudi Aramco. So what's been happening is at that conglomerate, they've been doing an investigation to find out how this hack originally happened. So this is what they're threatening now, and I'm going to read their dossier or their announcement. It says, according to media, which, and again, I'm quoting the Cutting Sword of Justice. They're saying, according to the media, which we rarely believe, Saudi Aramco is thinking that the 15 August attack was done by us, but with a man in the middle helping us with different kinds of info, and that's the reason why the head management of Aramco is still investigating. They go on to say garbage investigation. They say, what we're going to do to prove our ability to do more, well, we really need or even feel like proving anything to anyone and showing them that we can. But here is a headline story. You can tell this was written real well. We're going to make it next week once again, and you'll not be able by 1% to stop us. So what they're going to do is on the 25th of August at 2100 GMT, they're going to do something worse to Saudi Aramco. And so some sort of an attack on their infrastructure. And if you think about this, these folks are controlling oil refineries, oil pumping, lots of resources that are using to feed oil to the world. And if these guys are going to come in and attack these folks, do they really think that Saudi Aramco is going to sit by and take this laying down? I'm not saying that they're not capable of this, but if they're going to lay out that kind of a threat, you can be absolutely assured that the Saudi government has probably asked for help from U.S. resources. If someone's attacking an oil company, what do we have Navy ships in the Gulf for? We have it there to protect the oil that's getting out that fuels our automobiles, our SUVs, our 18-wheelers. So, it's just a fact. That's the way it is. So if they are saying that they're going to attack this group, I would find it very surprising if there wasn't all kinds of resources being brought to Marshall against what is going to happen here because, this could be considered a um, something that it could affect the national security of, a lot of countries. So we'll see what happens here. And this is going to happen Saturday, 2100 GMT, which I guess that would be about, if I think about that, we're 10 hours behind. So probably about the same time, about the same time as we're doing Saturday Morning Tech, this will go down. My dog's going crazy out there. What is he doing? He never barks. He's so old, he doesn't want to get out of his basket half the time. Anna, I have to scream at the dog and be quiet. So let him bark. He'll be okay. So anyway, what do you guys think? Love to hear your guys' thought on this. Email me here, geeknews at gmail.com. All right, next article up is, boy, I tell you, just bravo to the Curiosity team on Mars. Just fantastic stuff here. The rover's in motion and making tracks and leaving a message on the ground at the same time, binary messages on the ground when it's roving, because they do have code put into the tires, so it'll be leaving a message as it drives around. But bravo to the Mars team, and this is exciting stuff. And looks like they're out for a little bit of a romp, so we'll see how this goes, and we look forward to more science from Curiosity. Well, let's talk just a little bit about AT&T. They have simply lost their minds. They have basically came out and talked about FaceTime utilization on the phones. They've come out with this rationale that is they want to force people who want to use FaceTime over the 3G, 4G network to force them into a share plan. And basically, in other words, they want you to upgrade your account so that all your family members are on this share plan. And the rationale is doing that then they're going to allow you to use FaceTime. AT&T has become anti-consumer, and they're anti-consumer from the start. They want this on, it gets delivered with a phone. This effort by AT&T to manage and limit user accounts, this is just a start. This is not just about FaceTime. And I'll be honest, I don't use FaceTime. Some people do. For me, it's going to have a marginal impact. But what happens when Skype comes preloaded on a Windows Mobile or Google Talk on the Android, and you're on AT&T? They say you can't use this feature, this phone, this service, without having a family plan that has everyone up on a shared data plan. T-Mobile is rolling out unlimited data again. They're going to become very aggressive as they start rolling out LTE over the next couple of years. But AT&T has, they're saying that FaceTime could destroy their network. If it's that fragile, they're in trouble, because if they think Facebook's going to push them over the edge, then wow. So I don't know about you guys, but I feel it very arrogant and very in your face. And, the FCC has not been loving AT&T for a while now. And it's obvious that they're not being as loved by their users as well. So does this affect you guys? Does it peeve you off that you're paying for a data plan already, and they say you can't use FaceTime over their data pipes? You have to be on Wi-Fi unless you have more than one of your family members on a shared data plan. Folks on Wired and on GigaOM had great write-ups. I have a link up to their commentary, but it's just incredible. It really is what AT&T is trying to put forth. So we'll see where this leads. But big PR disaster for the folks at AT&T this week. All right, this next article should have some people raising their eyebrows, and I don't think it's going to affect anyone in the United States right now. But apparently, a German law firm is going to really stoop to a new low next week, and this is a company that's engaged in file sharing settlements. They're sending file sharing settlement letters to people, and the company's saying that starting on September 1st, it's going to begin publishing online the details of each individual it claims to infringe their client's copyright by sharing hardcore adult material online. So here's what they're going to do. If you are on their list having shared adult material in a peer-to-peer network, and they've got basically your IP and your info, they're going to publish that publicly. And what's worse is they're threatening to target churches, police stations, and folks from the Middle East first. This is incredible. They're going to go after Middle Eastern embassy personnel. They're going to go after police station personnel, and they're going to go after churches who have been involved and have IP data that's been tied to this hardcore adult content. This is to me is unbelievable, and I think it's going to backfire on them. But to publish people's names publicly, I would hope, and I don't know how the laws are in Germany, but I would hope that if they do this, that each one of these individuals that are exposed take these folks to court. We're talking about major reputation issues, privacy issues. It's incredible. But they say they have the identities of 150,000 individuals. And I don't know. Have we lost our collective minds? Is there no decency? You understand if someone's going to do that and they have proof, they take them through the judicial system the way they normally do, but to just be vicious like this is incredible. And we'll have to see how it goes. Now, Scientific American has a pretty amazing article in itself. And, you don't expect this type of an article to come from Scientific American. You expect it to come from sites like Torrent Freak. But they're saying how Hollywood is encouraging online piracy. And it starts off by David Pogue saying, "Face it, movie fans, the DVD is destined to be dead as a doornail. With only a few Blockbuster stores still open, Netflix CEO says we expect DVD subscribers to decline steadily every quarter forever. The latest laptops don't even come with DVD slots, so where are film enthusiasts supposed to rent their flicks? Online, of course." And, of course, we all know the issues with trying to rent online. We know the issues of not being available for extended times. You have to wait through. It goes the movie theater, then it goes to HBO, then it goes to the DVD rentals, and then finally, at some point, maybe in the future, it's on and available made digitally. So people are really kind of forced to pirate if they want to watch stuff oftentimes. Movies like Star Wars, Raiders of the Lost Ark, Jurassic Park, Saving Private Ryan, Meet the Fockers, all of these movies were never released digitally. So the Scientific American article is pretty critical of them. Now, they've done a follow-on article, and this was published on yesterday, on the 21st. They came back today, or actually later that same day, with some tips. 5 ways Hollywood can stop digging its own grave. And I think the tips that they're giving the folks at the movie industry is pretty smart. He starts out, again, this is again by David Pogue of Scientific American. He says, include the DVD extras. He says, in the DVD age, there was real value to the extras, the deleted scenes, director commentary, behind the scenes features, and so on. He says, make that available on digital. Number 2, offer a reasonable viewing period. He says, you pay what, $4 to stream a movie? And then if you don't finish the whole thing the first night, they expect you to rent it again just to watch the last 30 minutes. He says, that's insanity. He says it means you can't start a movie after dinner. If you have kids, you won't finish by bedtime, or you start the movie after you put the kids to bed. But if you get sleepy, you fall asleep and miss it. So he says extend that digital rental time. Number 3, eliminate the release window concept. In other words, basically, limit the starting time. He says when you rent videos digitally, you have to watch them within 30 days. I know that's true on the Apple Store. If I rent a movie on the Apple Store, if I forget to play it in 30 minutes or 30 days, it goes bye-bye. Number 4, eliminate the release window concept. He says when a movie's run in theaters is over, the movie studio should make it available for online viewing. And I agree. And they're also finally saying when it's buyable, it should be rentable. They say often Hollywood tries to gouge out a few extra bucks by making a movie available for sale online at $15 for a few weeks before you can rent it online for $4. So, I think this all makes a lot of sense to me. And what I would like is the ability is if I'm going to run it digitally for $4, why don't you give me the option to pay $10 and own it and own a digital copy of it? I think they would see a lot more movie sales. I don't want to pay 15, but I might pay 10 to have a digital copy of a movie. I'm not going to go spend 15 and then rip the DVD. I just don't do that. So, good article by Scientific American. Will it do any good? Probably not. But at least they're out there saying the same thing we've been saying for years on these shows. In our chat room, Sly Fox says, I like owning physical copies of media. Then I have something to show for it. I understand. But, it's one thing is the challenge is that's usually a $15 to $19 purchase. And especially, if you're living in an area where you don't have small homes, we couldn't have a DVD collection here. It just wouldn't make sense based on the space we have. But I know a lot of people have lots of physical space, would be not a problem. You gotta give the old guy over in New Zealand, Kim.com, credit. He's been taking and putting some pretty heavy blows against the administration, and specifically going after the president. And of course, with him not making a secret city, he holds the U.S. president personally responsible for the destruction of Mega Upload. He's been going at it pretty heavily. And so he basically was asked, okay, what would you do if you were president? And he released about 20 items, things that he would do if he was going to be the president. But he's getting a huge following and lots of retweetings that are retweeting directly to the president's Twitter account. So if nothing else, they're causing a barrage of information coming into the president's Twitter account. And I'm sure he's going to have to be very careful in what he says, because the Secret Service is already or the FBI and the Justice Department is definitely not happy with him, but he's going to have to be careful what he's saying, but so he doesn't get Secret Service after him as well. But he's definitely taken the attack to the administration and on a daily basis. So is it going to change anything? Probably not. But we'll get to see how it all plays out when it comes to his hearing, and maybe he's hoping that the president will step in and stop his extradition. I don't think so, but any tactic will work. All right, today Microsoft changed their logo, and if you didn't see it yet, it's well, I guess for a better word, it's not necessarily super inspiring. But the folks over at Techland, all right, at Time.com has a history of the logos. And for those of you that are watching the video or not watching the video, those are listening on the audio portion of the show. It's basically got the Metro square blocks next to the Microsoft name, um, and a little smaller font. So interesting design, pretty simplistic, nothing off the chart, but a nice change by Microsoft. That to change one company's logo, it's expensive. Business cards, letterhead, official correspondence, everything. It's not cheap to have a new logo. Now they haven't got a registered trademark for it yet, so we'll see where this leads. But that's surprising in itself that they don't have it with a circled R for registered. And I'm sure they'll probably do that, but the first two logos Microsoft had were not registered trademarks, so only the third one. All right, let's move on to some new topics here. The folks at in Congress, you just know who's in the bag and who isn't. But apparently, Representative Jerry Nadler, and I have no idea if this guy's a Republican or a Democrat. I didn't take the time to look it up. But Representative Jerry Nadler is proposing a music royalty bill that would effectively bump up the rates that cable and satellite radio stations have to pay to make them more aligned with the insanely high rates that the internet streamers are already paying. So, used to be, this is, in a certain sense, I kind of laughed just a little bit because remember we talked, if you've been in this audience for any time, you'll know that for a period, there was this big battle going on with the Copyright Office on the royalty bill that the streaming radio stations like Stitcher and other Pandora and those companies were going to have to pay. And matter of fact, the rate was brought down lower than what they initially suggested, but they're still paying a lot more than radio. So now what this representative is basically proposing is that the rest of the folks that are paying a lower rate be brought up to the rate that's being used on digital. Now, this is probably an issue. RIAA probably needs cash. We've talked about their finances are down. We know that they've had a push for Performance Right Act. They want something in law that helps, basically do more protection of music. But what's interesting here is instead of Pandora going, ha, 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 which, is probably what they're really thinking behind the scenes, because radio did not come, or satellite did not come to Pandora and Stitcher's rescue when this was all being introduced before being fought out. But Pandora's actually come on board and said Pandora's quite reasonably worried about this turn of events, noting that this new tax would be astonishingly unfair. So that's interesting that they are sticking up for the market that would not stand up for them before. And this is big. This is that's being big of themselves and being quite cordial to basically be on that. So what really, if you think about long term, the folks at Pandora says, well, maybe this will not go anywhere. If we come out and say we're worried about this, maybe then the cable and satellite radio stations will say, maybe we shouldn't have been so hard on the digital streaming people. Maybe we should all get together and get the prices lowered versus us having to pay this higher rate that the representative is proposing in this bill. So, so you can play that two different ways. It's better to be as a group fighting than one person have one position and another group have another. So we'll see where this goes. But the rep wants the other groups to pay their fair share too. And I hope he is just an uninformed representative that's putting a bill together by someone that made a campaign donation or something. Time will tell on this. But, the attempt by Representative Jason Chaffetz to bring the internet rates back down to the same rates as those of the other providers has kind of been stuck as well. So we'll see where this rolls. But it is interesting to see that a little bit of a battle going on here. Hey, I've absolutely got to hand it to um, this 15-year-old that's being reported on the BBC. A 15-year-old high school student. His name is Jack Andraka. He likes to kayak and watch U.S. television shows. This is a teen that's out of the U.K. And when time permits, he also likes to do advanced research in one of the most respected cancer laboratories in the world. This young man has created a pancreatic cancer test that is 168 times faster and considerably cheaper than what is considered the gold standard in the field. He has applied for a patent for his test and is now carrying out further research at Johns Hopkins University in the U.S. Obviously in Baltimore. So, excuse me. This gentleman is not originally from the UK. He's a Maryland native, so I apologize. But the BBC sat down with the teenager and did a great interview. So I have this linked up in the show notes. This is outstanding stuff. I thought I heard a British accent when I was listening to this kid earlier. So my bust, bad reporting, bad geek. But again, very cool that this teen has been able to, it says right on the headline, U.S. teen. I'm a knucklehead. Anyway, he's this advanced cancer testing for Google. But very cool for a 15-year-old. I'm sure he's going to go far. All right. Are you an Instagram? Are you a big Instagram user? Well, my daughter is. And so I showed her this. I'm going to show those of you on the video side. It's called the InstaCube, and it streams your picture feed. It's a little 600 by 600 pixel touchscreen, and don't have a price on. Is there $149? This is a Kickstarter project, and a lot of cool Kickstarter stuff. I'm going to talk about a couple of really awesome Kickstarter projects that you guys are going to get. You guys don't leave. These are two. Besides this, I'm going to talk about two other Kickstarter things here in a minute that's rocking. But it's kind of a cute idea, and I'm sure that there's a lot other ways to do this already. But if nothing else, if you want to get involved in that Kickstarter project, you can. A little news out of Redbox. They're basically saying Redbox Instant by Verizon is saying that they don't want to beat Netflix with a bigger catalog, but they want to focus on quality over quantity. So they've talked a little bit more about what they're going to be doing and how it's going to work. I'll link up the show notes. Don't know what the pricing is, but they're going to be launching this Redbox Instant with Verizon later this year. So we'll see where this happens or where this leads, and if they're even going to try to even compete with the folks from Netflix. But they say they're not. But I can't hardly believe that. All right, there's a chart that there was a big survey done, and somehow I don't know. Maybe you guys can help me out here. There was a poll done that says TV advertising still trounces web for advertising impact. And they talk about the impact of TV advertising being like a 57% share. Anyway, they did a poll, and respondents said which medium was the most effective. TV was 57%, newspaper was 15%, magazine 13%, search 4%, web banners 3%, web video 3%, app banners 1%. And what really irritates me here, of course, there's no response area for podcasts in this link. They probably lump us under web video. But what we see on the campaigns that we're doing is that we're outperforming TV in a big way. And, I guess the question I would have for you guys, and you guys listen to this show, you guys have heard many of them have been here for years, know our two main sponsors. And I'm sure I've influenced a high majority of you to try our sponsors' products. And you've listened to other podcasts that have different ads in them. how effective do you think this medium is, the new media medium, as compared to a podcast medium? I personally think that we trounce it based on, what we've seen in performance standards. So, and what we're told by media buyers as well, that they're still saying TV is the most effective. And I have to really question this. Um, and here's the interesting thing. This was done by not a U.S. audience. This was a survey done by GFK, and it was 4,000 UK adults. So, what's those of you that listen to the show? We got a good UK audience. Those of you that listen to the show that's in the UK, what's the main difference that you guys are seeing on your side of the pond in advertising you're seeing on TV as compared to what you're seeing digitally? I'd love to hear you guys' feedback on this, but it's interesting that this is the case. I just can't believe these numbers are the same here for the United States. I just don't think so. But we need a similar type of survey done with U.S. customers, and I think that would help us determine where that number really lays. All right, I had to take a little shot of water here, and all right, TV Guide. How many of you remember getting a paper version of TV Guide? Well, TVGuide.com has a new iOS app. So it's if you are a TV Guide fan, TV Guide Mobile is now available, a new update. So if you're using this app, make sure you update. If you're not, and you're not familiar with the paper version of TV Guide or what it was, you might want to check out the iOS app. I'm not much of a, I don't look for TV stuff. I schedule stuff in advance, and usually those online guides aren't very clever, but they say that's a nice app, so I'll let you go and grab it. All right, let's talk just a little bit here about passwords. Background passwords are pretty easy to crack these days. And what I mean by background password, let's take the password Super Thinkers, and it would be spelled with a capital SUP 3R THINKERS. And this is a pretty good password strength test. It's 13 characters in length. It uses mixed case and a number. The folks over at the website How Secure Is My Password estimates it would take a desktop computer about 1 million years to crack, with a 4 billion calculation per second estimate. But that's what they said it would take, a single desktop computer. But hackers are now using brute force, using many, many machines, and they feel that it would take just a couple of days to hack that if a hacker wanted into it. Passwords that are spelled like backwards or with not too much of a change can be hacked in relatively a very short time, a few hours. So what they're saying here is, if you're going to use, the right type of password, use a multiple character, interchange capital letters and lowercase and so forth. What they want you to start paying attention to is to avoid predictable password formulas. They're saying the biggest problem is we're all padding our passwords the same way. So when required to use mix of upper and lowercase numbers and symbols, most of us will use a name place or common word as a seed and then change it with intermix with stuff. So they're saying is just change up how you're doing your passwords and not to use so much common names. And, even replacing, let's say you wanted to have FIDO and you did F1DO instead of FIDO. Pretty easy for those password crackers to be able to figure that out. There's a list of about 10,000 most common passwords, which says there's about 99 0.8% of all users' passwords have been leaked from databases so far. So there's, we're not using a lot of password variation as they're seeing these lists come out. But use multiple unrelated words for your strong, long passwords. And again, the best option to use a password generator and manager that will really scramble one up and come up with a long one. There's programs like LastPass, KeyPass. I'm very familiar with both of those programs. They're very good. And of course, use a unique password for each site. Don't use something in a combination of things that make it obvious on how you're passwording each site. So I have this link up in the show notes. Definitely want to check out, but pay attention to those passwords out there. And this is all about the don't get hacked type of stuff. Hey, we're in Geek News Central. Alan, one of our great writers, put together a post on the Rovio release of Green Day levels for Angry Bird Facebook. So if you're playing Angry Birds on Facebook, pay attention because the alternative band Green Day is now being featured in in some levels for Angry Birds, along with the content. Let me actually bring that up, show that to you. Along with that, KL did a review of the new Vizio Co-Star. It's a new Google TV, and I must say this is a pretty nice little box. They've done some cool stuff with it. We actually got one ourselves at Raw Voice. We're testing our Google app on it, and they are doing what I will add to KL's article is, and those of you that are listening, you'll definitely want to go over the show notes and link to this, is that I think the video quality in the Vizio Co-Star is better than in the actual original Google TV. They're doing some nice upscaling, so definitely check it out. And actually, KL had Geek News Central up and playing on her TV, which was pretty cool. Nice to see me on the big screen there in KL's work area. But definitely check this out. It's $99, Vizio Co-Star, and she wrote a great review on this. So definitely check it out. All right, let me go ahead and switch back here to talking about Mac a little bit. Today, OS 10 Mountain Lion version 10.81. It's been made available. It's an update that's available for if you just go into your Apple menu and do software update. So what they include in this update is resolves an issue that may cause Migration Assistant to unexpectedly quit. They've improved capability when connecting to a Microsoft Exchange server and mail. They've addressed an issue playing audio through a Thunderbolt display. They resolved an issue that could prevent iMessages from being sent. They've worked on something that could cause the system to become unresponsive when using pin-in input. They resolved an issue connecting to SMB servers with long names, and that's something that it fixed here. Addressing an issue that may prevent Safari from launching when using a proxy automatic configuration. And they've also improved 802.1 authentication with Active Directory credentials, along with some other stuff. So download the update to Mountain Lion, and that'll be good. Now, they've also released Mountain Lion 10.82 to the devs. They're focusing on Facebook, iMessage, and more. And that release, I don't know when that's going to be out, probably a couple of months, but they've already handed to the devs for review. So we'll see where this goes. Okay, if you're on Facebook and you're an Apple user or a Mac user, an Apple iPhone or iPad user, you want to update your Facebook app. Facebook has done a real nice job in updating. Oops, that was dumb. Let me see if I can get that up. They've basically said they've focused a lot on performance. The app opens quickly. They've rebuilt the app from the ground up. Stories scroll smoothly, which is good. Photos load instantly on it now. And you really tap on any photo and it opens right up. So definitely update your Facebook app from the App Store. This is, again, for iOS. And anyway, I haven't updated on my side. But so far, the reviews I've seen have been pretty good. People are talking good about it. All right, this is the first Kickstarter that all you geeks are going to be really, really excited about. How many of you remember Connectify? Well, Connectify allowed you to, before Windows 7 came out, or actually when it initially came out, it allowed you to, for certain types of Wi-Fi cards, you could make it basically be a hotspot. You could make a laptop a hotspot or a desktop, and just basically have an extra. And you did run the Wi-Fi through your computer. Well, Connectify Dispatch is going to let you put all your internet connections together into one big internet. So what's really happening here? Let me get to explain to you what they've done. And I'm really excited about this because this could really make some big differences for us at CES. And I've already contributed to this Kickstarter. But if you have access to a Wi-Fi network, you have a 3G or 4G card, and you have an Ethernet cable, what they do is they combine all of that bandwidth to help improve your speed. And it's like ganging them, right? And so basically, you can use multiple connections simultaneously with Connectify Dispatch. And they've got a great video. They got some some stuff that shows you the speed. And let me show you. Let me see if I can find Now they're trying to raise 50 grand. They've got 14 days to go, and they've already raised $41,000. So let me bring up this Kickstarter deal here. And I contributed $100 to it. I wanted to get in early and get all the good stuff. But this is going to be awesome. And they're promising a delivery in September, so it must be almost ready. So I'm excited to see what they're going to do with this. They're going to definitely make their $50,000 goal here. So we'll see where this leads. But I'm pretty jazzed about this. Now this fundraiser was launch on August 8th. So they're already 14 days or so into this. So they got about 14 days to go, and they need $9,000 more. So I'm sure they're going to reach it. But I just think this one's awesome. For those of you that are always looking and your bandwidth challenged and you're trying to combine connections, this is perfect. Another Kickstarter I found, let's see if I can, should I do this first? Where is it? I have it down here further. Oh, here we go. Another Kickstarter is called Smart Things. And this is pretty incredible too. And I've seen some of this technology at CES, but they're not really going into too much detail. So what Smart Things is a project like developers hack for the real world. So they're showing a device here in the article that's basically looks like look like a router or something. But essentially what they're doing is they're making different devices that you'll be able to control from your mobile device. So, example, you'll be able to put a wall wart on the wall, plug your lamps into it, and you can actually control lamps going on and off, or different devices going on and off with your iPhone. Same thing with doors locking, a variety of different devices. So this is pretty cool, and they're really taking input on what people want. So at some point, what you're going to be able to do is you're going to be able to buy the accessories that you want. If you want something for a lamp, you want something for an air conditioning unit, be able to control your AC. If you want, just the whole plethora of things for lights and security and all this kind of stuff. So this Kickstarter, they're trying to raise $250,000. It's only been off the ground just less than a day. Kevin Rose basically tweeted about it, and they're up to $118,000, and they need $250,000 to get off the ground. So watch the video on this. It's a $1 minimum pledge. I have not contributed to this one yet, and I probably will. I haven't decided what level I want to come in on. But it is another cool thing where you're going to be able to have control of your home. And what I like about this is these are small companies that are getting started with some pretty cool projects that all of us as geeks can absolutely love. And I'm excited about this kind of stuff. So we'll see where this leads. But just more of these types of Kickstarters. And these are a great way for these companies to get funded. And you guys know I've talked about I've got a Kickstarter thing in my back of my brain that I want to do. I've got to figure out when the time to do it. I've got it designed. I know what the funding levels are going to be. But you get one shot at getting it right, because more than 50% of Kickstarter projects never get funded. And I just don't want to put my, I guess for a better word, put my idea out there at the wrong time and not make the funding. It was critical to make them, because once I put the idea out there, it someone will steal it. I guess that's the best way to say it. So anyway, a couple of cool Kickstarter projects. Microsoft, let's talk a little bit more about Microsoft. Microsoft is wanting to patent live streaming. And I thought, huh? What do you mean live streaming? You want to patent live streaming? So they have a patent application. And by the way, Apple just got a podcasting patent approved, which I'm not even going to talk about. I'm so pissed off. But basically, Microsoft is saying, imagine a reality TV show that's starring you, recorded by you, directed by Microsoft. And their patent application is a method to transmit data from a live recorder to a target device for safekeeping. The company pictures you using your smartphone or other device to document your life before it automatically catalogs, tags, and uploads it somewhere for friends and family to enjoy. Now, here's the thing. Is this a preemptive strike by Microsoft to try to stop the folks from Apple and basically patenting their glasses and all the same thing? Why would Microsoft do this? This is a very interesting. Now, this is a patent application. And what's interesting on the patent application, if you look at this, a guy's wearing something on his head, on his arm, on his shoulder. So is Microsoft basically trying to preempt Apple from applying the same type of patent? Something to think about, isn't it? If I was to guess, I would say yes. But I don't know if Apple has anything similar in or not. Could be time for a big war between them two. All right, let's talk about Google plus vanity URLs. Those that are special out there have been given the ability to make a vanity URL. And all a vanity URL is the ability to have your own custom extension so that people can find you easily on Google plus. So that's starting to roll out. And basically how it's listed is google.com/plus and then your keyword. So interesting move by Google. They haven't made it available to everyone yet. So us paupers have to wait. All right, Google Play music app has been updated for Google TV. Plays video content now streaming to Chromebooks. So look forward to that update. Those of you that are have Chromebooks or are using Chrome. Hey, the folks from the FCC have put together a pretty interesting map. And now let me show this to you. And I want to zoom around a little bit. So what they've done is they've got a fixed broadband deployment map, and they've got it listed with green and light green and dark green, light orange, dark orange. They show water areas and unpopulated tribal lands and how connectivity is. So let me zoom in. I was just going to use my mom's area as an example. And let me go ahead and bring this map up. And this is pretty good because the deeper you get, the better it shows it. So I'm going to show you the county that my mom lives in. And I have a pretty good idea about where she lives. And if you zoom in on this, and if you guys, those of you that are listening, what I've done here is I've zoomed in on the county that my mom lives on. And check this out here. So total population of the county my mom lives in is 44,715. There's 6,000 residents in that county that do not have access. The per capita income, my God, is really low. 19,000. It can't be that low. Percentage of housing units in county with access to broadband technology. The cable is about 70%, DSL is about 50%, and fixed wireless is about 70%. Now, what my mom uses is fixed wireless, and so oh, so her their county is doing pretty good as compared to the county next to it, which has no fixed wireless. And my mom lives at the very bottom of the county and around a lake area, but it does show that fixed wireless isn't available in that area. But it is kind of curious. You can zoom in to your part of the country and see what kind of broadband is available. Now, you can within this chart, you can then basically, well, they make it so you can embed the map on your own websites, and it just gives great information about what's available within the United States from a broadband perspective. And I think the thing that shocked me the most was that, if you look at this map, the East Coast, everything that is basically east of the Mississippi, is in much better shape than the rest of the country until you get to like Texas is not bad. But if you look at Kansas, Nebraska, um, Wyoming, Utah, Nevada, of course, there's large areas in Nevada that is not even populated. But you look at Oregon, Idaho, Montana, North Dakota, very bad coverage until you get almost all the way over to California and the Western Seaboard. But horrible connectivity for just about the rest, the mid part of the United States from about Iowa to California, really bad in many areas. And of course, there's nice green around heavy metropolitan areas, but the country is definitely largely um, disconnected. And if you look at the tribal areas where there are reservations, it's just as bleak as well. So, but the interesting chart by the FCC, I have the link up in the show notes for you to check that out. So, do you have an opinion on broadband cap speeds? We want you to tell the FCC. The FCC is basically looking right now, insight on how slow a broadband connection can be and still be considered broadband, as well as what would constitute a reasonable data cap. This is a notice of inquiry that they put out. And basically, this gives you the ability to go and tell people what you think. And this is good. You need to take time. And if you think that, a 250 gig cap is reasonable, um, you need to tell them why it is or why it isn't. So, it's kind of interesting that they're asking this question. I'm against all caps. I think I pay a lot of money for my internet connection, and I think my cable provider should provide for it. If he wants to charge more for the cable connection, that's fine. Just don't cap me. And I would not like being, I've stood against that forever. So this is your chance, folks, to actually make comments that will go into the record for the FCC. It's not hard to do. They got the online forum. They show you how to do it. And but please go make your comments and let the FCC know what you think about broadband speeds and connections. All right. If you're going to look at any article tonight, listen up. Okay. This is the best one. And this was an article over on Gizmodo, and it's just going to get you the starter link. Amateurs uncovered stunning treasures in Hubble's image vaults. Hubble has taken millions of pictures, and not all of them been looked at by NASA. But NASA basically made available the image collections and the search engines and allowed people to go in and find stuff. And there are incredible images that have not been seen before. And I mean, these are just going to your mouth is going to drop when you see some of these. And the images have been enhanced a little bit and colored to make sure that they're showing what is happening in the infrared. But my gosh, I'm not kidding. Some of these are incredible. So you'll definitely want to go. Again, amateurs uncover stunning hidden treasures in Hubble's image vaults. And who knows what else they're going to find in there as they're looking around. But I'll have a link up in the show notes. You got to look at this. And as a matter of fact, the scientists are saying, thank you, amateurs, because you have found stuff that we did not know existed that's going to add to science and so forth. So, again, of the millions of observations, only a small proportion are attractive. And so this is cool stuff. Anyway, link will be up in the show notes. You got to check this out. Google's talking about their ability to do some amazing thing with databases. If you're a database junkie, I'm going to have an article for you that talks about them being able to process 1 trillion pieces of data with a single click of a mouse in a matter of seconds. I'm going to have that link up in the show notes for you to check out. Also, how many of you saw the 3D MakerBot? Well, some bozo has recreated this, and he's going to be selling basically a clone of the MakerBot 3D printer, and he's calling it Tangibot. But he is, the MakerBot folks are all open source, and I understand what he's trying to do here. He's trying to make this available cheaper. He's doing a Kickstarter, trying to raise $500,000. Good luck to him, but the MakerBot was pretty remarkable when we saw it the first time, and we covered it from CES, and you guys know that Annie McCaskey just about went gaga over it. But anyway, this Tangibot is getting a lot of heat, but I have a link up in the show notes article over on Wired talking about this guy that's basically trying to bring this to market by basically realizing and just copying everything that the MakerBot did. All right, earlier this week, Amazon sent out an email. They're talking about a new product called Amazon Glacier, and this is a new storage service. Costs you $0.01 a gig. This is long-term storage. This is not something that you're going to want to need to get access to on a daily basis. Basically, this is a place where you're going to go put data. You're going to pay $0.01 a gig. This is significantly cheaper than on-site storage and at least 10 times cheaper than other cloud storage services. It's even cheaper than the Amazon S3, Dropbox, Azure, so on. But it's designed for explicitly long-term storage. Now, unlike S3, which is online and always available for instant access, Glacier takes time, between 3 to 5 hours. And basically, you're not allowed to delete data within 90 days. And they are basically saying this is something you should, if you have to access once a month maximum, it's not something it's basically, this is your data repository. It's a place where you're going to go stick stuff for long-term storage. Now, it could get expensive over time. So you'll have to make a determination whether or not you're going to want to actually have this data stored. Now, it's going to be in tape. So it's actually not even, it's going to be in some shelf somewhere. Your data is going to be on a tape. So we'll see where this leads. But I could see this being a great storage place for all of Geek News Central's archive, or a place where I could offload all my videos and put everything up in the cloud and have it in a safe storage place and not have to take up stuff I wouldn't have to access only like in an emergency if we had a server go down or something, or lose, have some catastrophic failure. So that's what I'm thinking about. But Amazon Glacier, real cool. Slashdot has an article about a robot that's being designed. His name is Nico. And they feel that Nico, the robot, may be able to soon pass a landmark test where the robot can recognize itself in a mirror. And this is big. This has been developed by computer scientists at Yale University, and it's going to take the test in the coming months. The ultimate aim is for Nico to use a mirror to interpret objects around it in the same way as humans use a rearview mirror to look for cars. And it's basically spatial reckoning. And so we'll see how this works. But this is going to be cool to see how this turns out. Will they become self-aware? We don't know. All right, the U.S. Army is sending rapid prototyping lab to Afghanistan prepared to battle insurgents. And basically what they're doing here is they're trying to help the guys in the field modify stuff on a quicker basis. They've got a 3D printer in it. It's in a shipping container. So it's jam-packed full of stuff. This is an awesome video of some of the stuff that they're going to be able to do. They're going to be able to fix parts. They're going to be able to manufacture stuff instead of having to, and then have teams come out and look at something, survey it, and go home. They're going to be able to do it right there. So exciting. This is some really cool stuff. And each lab contains a 3D printer, industrial CNC machine, plasma cutters, welders, routers, magnetic mounted drill presses, circular saws, jigsaws, and electric hacksaws. Each lab also has a big old dish satellite for comms. And of course, each of that comes with 2 engineers who actually operate the equipment. And so this is pretty cool. There you've got it so they can link engineers up. So if they need to do video conferencing and so forth, it can be moved via helicopter. Real cool. And because, you just like, you can't go to the parts store. You have to have stuff made and then shipped in. You make it there, that's even better. Computer World has a great article on a 60-minute security makeover. This is for those of you so that you can prevent your own epic hack. I'll have that link up in the show notes. Big news out of California today where the California Assembly is okay to bill banning warrantless smartphone tracking. This is big. So this vote would prohibit state law enforcement from obtaining location data from individuals' GPS-enabled mobile device without a warrant. This needs to be legislation in every state in the country. This is big, and bravo for California Assembly for putting this together. I think it's well needed. The jury's in looking at trying to come up with a verdict in the Apple versus Samsung case. And they, normally these folks, it takes about a half day to get these types of verdicts done. And they're on day 2. They stayed late today. So we'll see if they come out with anything tomorrow. Everyone's on pins and needles on where this is going to lead, but the jury has it and they're working through it. The folks in South Korea have had a turnover by a local court. There was a law that was requiring South Korean citizens to reuse their real names on websites. This has been struck down by a panel of judges, and it's been ruled unconstitutional, and it undermined democracy. So an interesting move in South Korea on the utilization of real names on websites. All right, SpaceX next cargo run to the International Space Station happens in October. So they're scheduled to launch the first of its 12 contracted cargo flights. And so anyway, this is big. So SpaceX will officially get paid, I guess, for the first time on their next mission. One thing I did want to mention about Curiosity's Rove is, oh boy, I'm going to pull a brain fart here. Let me go back to where I talked about this at the beginning. It was named in honor of Ray Bradbury. And of course, Ray Bradbury would have been 92. And, but this is big. And I think it was appropriate naming for the landing site of Curiosity. But lots of news on Curiosity Universe today and space.com. And along with that, the last space-related article is that they have found two exact matches to the Milky Way galaxy. Of course, we're in the Milky Way galaxy. So this is kind of cool. The survey found Gamma 202627, and very much like it looks just like our own galaxy, our own Milky Way. And the scientists are pretty gaga about this. This is the first time this has ever happened. They found two, and have the picture up in the show notes, actually in the website link. But the scientists, I don't know, what does that mean? We've been duplicated, or basically just a coincidence? But anyway, I have the link up in the show notes for you to check out. Last couple of articles here. Apple's yanked the Genius ads off YouTube. Surprise, surprise. Didn't get a lot of good press. And finally, how many of you get Charlie horses when you sleep at night? Well, if you do, they say, and this has been undetermined by the folks at Snopes, you get a bar of soap and set it between your sheets, close to the legs that get cramped. And supposedly, some people are getting relief from that. I know I get Charlie horses from time to time, not very often, maybe 1 or 2 a year while I'm sleeping. But I'm not going to my wife would not allow bar soap in between our sheets. It's not going to happen, but it's worth a try if you're always having issues. All right, let's go ahead and load up see what I got here in email today. That's pretty quiet. Let's see. Our last show was on the 20th. We had quite a few come in. Let's see. I got an email here from Chetta. He said, "Hey Todd, just wanted to thank you for these show notes. Great job. Keep doing the podcast. Keep the river flowing. Absolutely." And it was actually his first name's Manuel, and Manuel's out of Romania. So thanks for being a fan here of the show, Manuel. Got an email here from Ross. He said, "Hey Todd, well, another great show for you that you put on Monday night, Tuesday morning here in Newfoundland, 7.5 hour time difference." He said, "You mentioned about cord cutting and such and having to be authenticated to stream certain programs. Since you're in the U.S., most of the major stations have their programming online. Just go to their sites and watch it. NBC, CBS, ABC, and Fox won't let us guys from the Great White North view the programming on their sites, even though we get all those networks here. I can go to the Canadian station website, which also carries the same program as the Big Four, and watch it that way. I can watch on my iPad with the station apps and then use AirPlay to stream it to my Apple TV. I have a fiber optic internet speeds with 50 megs down and 30 megs up, so I don't have no buffering, and my internet provider does not have any caps." Says, "Once again, enjoy the podcast. I listen to it on my 5 kilometer walk to work." And he says, "When I head out, Ross out of St. John's, Newfoundland." Thanks for being a fan here, Ross, and enjoy your walk to work this morning. Got an email here from Frank. He says, "Hey Todd, rocket launch at Wallops Island on Thursday." Well, today's Thursday, so I may have missed it, but I have the link up in the show notes. Got an email here from Alan. He says, "Todd, I'm a bit behind since you listened to your Ghost episode. However, I had to chime in. I've been using Windows 8 since developer preview, and I now have the release preview on my production laptop, and I'll be installing it on my desktop as well. It doesn't kill Chrome or apps, and it works absolutely great, and I love the interface. I won't, however, be installing it on my Media Center since Media Center doesn't launch on startups anymore, which is a huge drawback. For that computer, I will be switching to XMBC Ubuntu." Alan, thanks for that feedback. I definitely appreciate it. Got an email from Max. He says, "Hey Todd, thanks for sharing the family home movies. I'm sure you'll hear this from everyone who writes you, but you really look a lot like your dad." Smiley face. "That said, be well, and again, if you're ever in New York and want a tour of the off the beaten path, let me know, Max." Max, I see those older videos and I see my dad in those videos. I'm kind of like, yeah, don't the old geek here doesn't far too far from the vine, does he? So thanks for the comments. And the last article or last email that came in was from Charles. He said, "Hey Todd, on show 790, you asked how bad the drought has been for listeners. I live in Southwest Arkansas where it's rural and forested. Although we've had a bit of relief from the worst of the drought, NOAA says it will take 18 inches of rain to bring us back to normal. It was so hot and dry on the 4th of July, no one was barbecuing or shooting off fireworks for fear of starting a fire. There have been 400 to 700 acre burns within 25 miles of my house in the last month. The long shows are great. Keep up the good work, Charles." And that was it for all email. Again, if you want to email the show, it's real easy. All you got to do is drop me a line here, geeknews@gmail.com, geeknews@gmail.com. Voicemail hotline is 619-342-7365. And, of course, you can tweet me at Geek News. You can follow me on Google+. Just search for Todd Cochran. You'll find me on Google+. I'm on Facebook.com/Cochran. So we want to thank all of you for being fans of the show. Thank you for staying subscribed. Thank you for being here. Thanks for putting up with the longer shows. I get more feedback for the longer shows. No one's complaining. Not one complaint. I'm getting more and more emails saying, "Hey, don't read this on the air, but thanks for the longer shows." So I guess we're on to something. I haven't looked at the stats in a couple of weeks, but you guys are responding, so we're going to keep rocking them. But thanks for being here. Thanks for being part of the family. And again, think about becoming an insider. We definitely appreciate all of you that appreciate the content and appreciate me and being able to support the show with a small monthly contribution. We definitely appreciate it. It helps us do more. And no, I hope we don't have to move. I hope my wife doesn't put her foot down. We'll see where that leads. If those of you that weren't listening earlier in the show, go back to the beginning. Those of you that are live, I'll share what happened tonight when she got home. But other than that, everyone take care. We thank you for being here. And aloha.